Aloha everybody, Tracie here. Welcome to my Ninau series. And Ninau in Hawaiian is a question. And so if you have any Ninau that you would like to ask me, let me know. Also, let me know if it's okay for me to mention who you are. Stay till the end so you can see upcoming Vikio that I'm working on for all of you folks. Also, if you're following along, there's a timestamp at the bottom. I'm going to go through the Ninau and then I'll give you my answer. So I posted a Vikio called What Does a Hawaiian Person Look Like? And Lived in Hawaii asks, I was born in Oahu. I lived there for the first 3 years of my life. Does that make me Hawaiian even though I live in Oklahoma? I've been wondering since I was little. Oh, before I answer that question I want to let you know that there's a site that I like to go to for dictionaries. Online, it's called Vehe Vehe Wiki Wiki, and I use it and my students use it as well. And if you have Hawaiian words that you want to know, you can put it in the little box and it'll give you the answers. So let me give you the answer to your Ninau. Native Hawaiians. So I went to Wikipedia because I like this definition, no other reason. It says Hawaiians or Kanaka Maoli. Kanaka, Oiwi Kanaka Maoli and Hawaii Maoli are the Aboriginal Polynesian people of the Hawaiian Islands or their descendants. Native Hawaiians trace their ancestry back to the original Polynesian settlers of Hawaii. So the Polynesian settlers would be the people that came before the first Taule, the first foreigners came, right? And that first foreigner was Captain Cook. And I wanted to show you another definition from Kamehameha Schools. Kamehameha Schools gives preference to people of Native Hawaiian ancestry. Their definition says, birth certificates must be submitted which allow us to trace Hawaiian ancestry from the applicant to an ancestor born in Hawaii in 1959 or earlier via a series of uninterrupted biological child-parent relationships. In general, this means that you will need birth certificates for the applicant, the Hawaiian parent, and the corresponding Hawaiian grandparent. If the Hawaiian grandparent was born after 1959 and or was born outside of Hawaii, the corresponding Hawaiian great-grandparent's birth certificate is also required, and so on. This also means that only the birth certificate of the applicant and the Hawaiian parent would be required if the Hawaiian parent was born in Hawaii in 1959 or earlier. Okay, so what's the significance of 1959? So 1959 is the year that Hawaii was added to the United States. Legally, illegally, that's the question. So let me show you an interesting article that I saw on Facebook. So NayNay Haunani posted this picture. It says, we're Hawaiian. It's all of these kids right here. And it says, does being born in Hawaii make you Hawaiian? Over the last 3 years, we've seen a huge increase in the number of people claiming Hawaiian on birth certificates. In fact, many more people appear to be 100% Hawaiian than ever before. Whilst investigating this increase, we came across a worrying reason. We're seeing a lot more Hawaiians with the last name like Wong, Kim, Lewinsky, and Wu. When filling out the information for their child's birth certificate, parents are lying. They claim that both parents are Hawaiian. This allows their child to be proclaimed 100% Hawaiian on their birth certificate. This not only gives their child the benefits and privileges of being of Hawaiian descent, but if the tradition carries on after 3 generations, they would have all the evidence they need to qualify for Hawaiian lands. To stop this, anyone wishing to claim any percent of Hawaiian on a birth certificate will be required to provide a blood sample to be DNA tested. The DNA test takes as little as 30 days to complete, and a temporary birth certificate will be issued with the race listed as unknown. A new certificate will be issued once the results from the DNA tests are confirmed. Anyone that has been found to have lied when completing the application will not be issued a birth certificate, and the child's race will be permanently listed as unknown. So I think this is a spoof website, the state of Hawaii, because this is not the actual official state of Hawaii website. Basically, the problem is people that are having their kids in Hawaii are claiming that their kids are Hawaiian because they're born in Hawaii. So adding to that confusion is websites like this, Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster says the definition of Hawaiian is a native or resident of Hawaii. Okay, so those definitions to people of Hawaiian descent are untrue. I did a VKO about this. So somebody from California is a Californian, right? So you can watch the VKO up here. But people from Hawaii are not necessarily a Hawaiian. So go watch that VKO. But dictionaries like this, like the Merriam-Webster, saying that a native or resident of Hawaii, a resident of Hawaii is not necessarily Hawaiian. As you saw in the definitions from Kamehameha schools, and then also that one in Wikipedia is really good. So to that person that asked that Ninau, great Ninau. And keep asking me those questions. And also, I'm working on a couple other Ninau VKO. So until next time, aloha, ahui ho.